watching Greenfield Community Television. I'm Bella Levavi, and today I am interviewing the two new co-directors of Just Roots.
Whoop whoop!
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
So I guess I'll just start with you and then go to you, and just can you tell me your name and your background and why you decided to become the new co-director?
Ooh, okay, yeah. My name is Meryl LaTronica, and my background is mostly farming. So I've been in agriculture for 20 years. Started farming. Most of my farm career was in Eastern Massachusetts, and then 8 years ago, I came out to Greenfield for a job at Just Roots to become the farm manager here. So moved from JP in Eastern Mass, moved out here, and started growing vegetables and being a part of the community in Greenfield and at Just Roots. And that job has sort of evolved over the last 8 years into more of a director of farm operations, which is like anything to do with the production and the property and the community farm of it all. And so when we had a vacancy in our executive director position over this last 6 to 9 months, Joshua and I filled in because we had been the team leaders for our respective teams, and we just, when the opportunity was presented, hey, would you guys consider becoming leadership together? We had a great conversation and put our hat in the ring, and here we are. Our board and our staff supported us to say, yes, we believe in you, and now we're about 5 weeks into this new position as co-executive directors.
Amazing.
Yeah.
On to you.
And I'm Joshua Fowler, and I've been with Just Roots for just over 4 years, and I have been there in a program management and program directorship role. My background is agriculture and a nonprofit, and Just Roots has been a wonderful fit. We've been in transition for quite some time now, and in that process, Meryl and I really had to step up and step in to make sure that programming was continuing as expected, and making sure that everybody who enjoys Just Roots programming could continue to be served. And at some point, our former leadership just approached us and said, "You're doing it already, so why don't you go and put your hat in the ring?" And I might have been hesitant if it weren't for Meryl just being amazing. So I'm really excited about joining Meryl in this new co-directorship role.
Awesome. So let's zoom out for a second. What is Just Roots, and what is the rising importance of this organization in Greenfield?
Ooh, you want to take a stab at it? What is Just Roots?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I love that. Just Roots has been, many things to many people over the years, and started several years ago as the Greenfield Community Farm for community garden purposes. And so the organization was a poor farm and then veterans housing, and had a subsistence farm for many years, and it was town owned and laid vacant. And so when the opportunity arose to reinvigorate it as a new community garden, Just Roots was incorporated as a 501c3. Just Roots is a farm, first and foremost, and a food access organization. And at this point, also, we provide nutrition education. We partner with a number of local organizations. And also, over the last few years, and now even more so in 2025, we are providing produce prescriptions, food as medicine, CSAs effectively, across Massachusetts with our in conjunction with our healthcare partners.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Just Roots plays an important role, and sort of has played an important role in Greenfield and Franklin County, because it was started as such a community organization. There's so many people that I've met in the 8 years I've been here that have been like, I picked rocks, and I went to the community forum that, had all the excitement of all the ideas, and and now it's this thing, it's this living being that includes a lot of people in our community. And I think one of our goals is to have a kind of robust community farm that improves quality of life in our town and improves quality of life in our in our region, for like a place where people can come and not only be nourished by food, but by also the land and by each other. So feeling of like connection and alongside feeding people is really important to us, and sort of what we create as a organization, both like beyond Franklin County and then also really tangibly at our farm.
Great. And then I'm curious, has there ever been a co-director role before, or is it always held by one person?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. And this was kind of a breakthrough when we realized it. I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think traditionally, if we could say, there hasn't actually been an official co-directorship, but what has happened is there's been a lot of partnerships and collaboration through the life of Just Roots. So one of the founders, trained up an early volunteer, an early staff member, Jessica O'Neill. So Jay Lord and Jessica, they worked together for a while in a transition of leadership. So there kind of was this like unspoken co-directorship for a while. And then I think even beyond that, the way that our teams have been organized, whether there's an executive director and a program manager and a farm manager, it's all been pretty collective, but there's always kind of been that like, well, but that's the ED. And so I think it took a little digging in and looking back at our history and looking forward to saying a lot of ED models, especially in nonprofit work, are places where burnout happens. And I think neither one of us was very excited to apply by ourselves. But when the idea was approached, like, could we do this together? And then we started looking at ED models, across the country. It was like, oh, this is a model that is sustainable. This is a model that, puts collaboration at the heart. And I think when we looked back, we thought, well, that's actually really true to the culture of our organization. So it's not that different, but naming it and saying, we want this model, that had to sort of go through our board and go through our staff and say, what do we think about like this as a model? And what was awesome is people were like, that sounds cool. Let's try that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like one of you has more hands in the farm and one of you has more hands in the programs, or is it even more less separate?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we really came at this as Meryl was the director of farms and I was a program director, and so we had very different auspices. And we worked closely together, but it was very clear who did which part. And then through the transition period, especially recently before we took our new positions, we started overlapping a lot more. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of governance and financial oversight and HR and all the budget building and the glamorous work that we really needed to work together on. And it really proved the model for me, because I had this brilliant person that I could work very closely with and improve my first impulses and my ideas, and really also help to walk the talk about equity, that we're subverting traditional hierarchical systems and creating systemically more collaboration within our organization and room for productive conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an exciting part of it, is to sort of model how we want collaboration to look across the organization.
So you guys kind of touched on this already, but what are your goals for the future with this co-directorship?
Ooh, what are our goals?
Yeah. Well, I should lead. We should lead by saying that we are using this opportunity to reflect. Mm-hmm. So we are overdue for strategic planning, rebranding, just reconsidering the way that Just Roots exists within our community and that what we present. And so that is going to be an extended process that includes staff and board and stakeholders as well, to make sure that we're staying truthful to our goals and allowing us to refocus on what we do well, what we do best. We say yes all the time, and it will help us focus on what are the programs that we really should be working on. Excuse me. And I think that I will say one exciting piece from my own perspective is that we've been working with Mass Health through the 1115 waiver on Medicaid since 2020. And so what that is a way that a state can help create preventative care for patients that are Medicaid recipients experiencing food insecurity. Excuse me on television, listen to me. And so what we have the opportunity to do now is that this is becoming, under the newest guidance, health-related social needs provider system. A practitioner can prescribe Just Roots through one of our healthcare partners. And so if a patient is experiencing food insecurity and has another eligible criteria, then that their insurer, their ACO, can go in and say, hey, you know what you need is you need the Just Roots program, which includes a CSA share year-round. It includes cookware in most cases. It includes the cooking classes that we had talked about. It also includes wraparound bilingual on-call services. And we're really happy with the results because it allows us to reach a wider audience with our commitment to making sure that folks can have access to healthy, local, nutritious food, regardless of their income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a great program, and I love that, because we're a little more than 10 years into our organization becoming an organization, we're sort of in this perfect moment of new leadership, new structure of leadership to really reevaluate and sink into this year, a bit of an audit of all of our programs, of how we're working, of how the community around us and within us is excited about programs or is wanting more. So it's a really cool opportunity to sort of keep doing what we're doing, but refresh and sort of come into our adolescence as an organization in a way. Thinking about like the first 10 years as baby steps and the next 10 years as adolescence, and then maybe 10 years from now we'll be in our adulthood.
Totally.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching this and sees the two of you and wants to get involved in any way, is there ways that you can recommend getting involved with Just Roots?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we love people to come to the farm and just visit, take a walk around. It's part of your community. Come and visit it. And then get involved either as a CSA member or come to the Winter Farmers Market. We go to the Greenfield Public Library tomorrow to do our farmers market. So we're involved in town to be get your produce from Just Roots. It's locally grown. It's good. But then if you want to volunteer, you can reach out to us. Basically, you can just reach out via email at info@justroots.org, or you can give us a call. So, yeah.
And if you want a CSA share, we should say, we are one of the largest SNAP and HIP enrolled CSAs in the whole state. And we try to make our CSA available to folks regardless of where they're at income-wise. Sign up soon. We're going to have our summer registration coming out by the end of this month, and jump on it because last year we sold out pretty quickly. We'll still have the farmers market, and we have a farm store available. So if you do miss your opportunity, there are other ways to get your hands on Just Roots produce. But if you do want that sweet, sweet CSA share, jump on it quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about the new leadership?
Oh, just that we're excited and honored to get to, usher this new decade of Just Roots into existence. It's really a fun place to be. So very excited about that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
I look forward to some fresh veggies.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes. Get yourself to the farm.
Yeah, come on by.